Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome back to Coffee with Kim and Hills. We're here.
We're excited.
We are excited. Got fun topics to talk about. But first, how was your morning?
It was good.
Yeah.
You know, a nice mellow morning where like things moved the way they were supposed to.
That's good.
Which
Like no surprises.
No surprises.
No like early morning
no
wake up
early
calls
morning
from the child.
No early morning wake up calls from the child.
Hallelujah.
No nighttime wake up calls from the child.
So good.
She was easy to pick out her outfit, get out
Nice.
get out to school.
Things went according to plan.
Went according to plan. Like it was surprisingly easy,
Yeah.
which rarely happens, I feel like.
No, I know. It's always like, it's a gamble.
It's always a scramble, I feel like, in the morning.
It's a gamble and a scramble.
Maybe it's because I'm not a morning person, but I don't know.
Neither. Oh my gosh, pre-baby marriage house, this life that I lead now. I spent many years up very, very late and sleeping in very, very late. So yeah, this is not my nature. This whole like, you have to get up at 7. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was like
Yeah.
not enough time.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the time looked like it was there, but it wasn't there in the end. And so it was a Dunkin' kind of morning.
Ooh.
I was rushing out the door and I was like, I need to eat, I need something, I need sustenance. And what better way? Quick, easy. They do those like, egg and cheese wake up wraps.
Ooh. Yes. Those
They used
are
to
lovely.
be 99 cents. Now they're over $1. Thank you, inflation.
Inflation.
Even hitting Dunkin'. Tried and true, my Dunkin'. How dare you?
Sad.
Yeah, it is sad. But we made it. We're here.
There you go. You have coffee. You have iced coffee.
Yeah, always.
Which is the important part.
That's like all I can drink right now, pregnant in the summer like this. It's like, it has to be iced. Third trimester. Yes, trimester. Trimester. Yeah, okay. So
you got it.
I heard it really weird come out of my mouth. Third trimester, iced coffees. All right, let's dive into some hot topics. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, the upper middle class is getting squeezed.
Ooh.
This is from the Wall Street Journal. So many upper class Americans are seeing their 2 years of pandemic gains eroded.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. It does make sense. As I was getting into the article, I was like, yeah, I could see how it hits the upper middle class a little bit more in certain ways. Obviously, like it's not feeling good for a lot of people, but yeah.
It's not feeling good for many people. Poorest families are definitely feeling this the most.
From inflation specifically.
Yeah.
They might not have as much invested where they're seeing the loss the way like high earners are. That's where they're seeing most of the loss.
Right.
High income, families, they aren't as concerned with the added inflation costs. But they're seeing, a lot of their investments going kaput. So there's that.
So people are feeling it in different ways,
Yes.
but I think that the upper middle class specifically is kind of stuck between both of those. Where
Yes, they're getting it from both ends.
feeling the inflation, as a percentage of your total spending and your total, income to spending ratio. But then also you've been seeing, they're seeing that their investments are in a different place than they'd like them to be.
Right.
Which is tough.
Yeah, this actually surprised me. The article said that upper middle class families actually lost a bigger chunk in their stock portfolios than those who make more than them. I guess I would have just assumed that like people who likely have more invested lost more.
Well, I think it's a bigger percentage. So they said chunk, but I took it as versus like a volume.
It's like
a percentage of their
it,
investment. So
got it. So it just hurts
more
those
because
people more.
Maybe it's 30% versus 10% for high for richer families, but maybe the volume's different, right?
I see. Okay, this makes more sense. Thank you. See, she clarifies.
That's how I
for
took
me.
it, at least.
No, that makes sense to me. I'm with you now. It also says that upper middle class families They tend to spend more of their budget on driving expenses because they tend to live in the suburbs and commute into work.
Yep.
So, and we know what the driving expenses are right now. I mean, it's crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, and I think too, for almost 2 years, you weren't having to pay for that.
Right.
And now companies are requiring people to get back to the work at least a couple days a week.
Yeah. So on top of like you saving in those areas that weren't as exponential as they are right now, it's like travel shock. You're you're being forced to come back to work and you're like, wait, this is not what it was before when I was coming back to work.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, can I get some help here?
Right. Right. Can I get a cost of living increase adjustment, please, on my salary? That would be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
But I did think it was interesting. They talked about how, they defined upper middle class as people who earn $75,301 to $127,300 on an annual basis, which
$75,301.
Yes, very specific. And I guess in my mind, I always assumed that upper middle class was a little bit more like a higher earning than that.
Yeah.
So that was a surprising learning for me in this one.
Fun fact. We like our fun facts.
And I think, being in that bracket, it also, for the pandemic, was tough for people because they didn't get as much or get a stimulus check as people who are lower earners.
Right, because they earn just too much to get the stimulus check, whereas the lower income, they were receiving the unemployment benefits, which also this points out their unemployment benefits were closer to what they were actually earning from their jobs, whereas the unemployment benefits that the upper middle class families were getting was nowhere near what they were making before. So they were taking just a bigger hit in general.
Yeah. Which
is an interesting factor. Fun fact.
Fun fact. And if they had children, and even if they were eligible for some of the child stimulus or the child tax credit, it was at that prorated level depending on their income.
Right.
So again, and look, upper middle class, you're typically in a good standing financially. You're obviously kind of in this in-between world. And those programs were definitely meant to help with those who are in the poorest classes, as they should. But it is tough now that inflation has hit us hard, that there's this like rock in a hard place.
Right. And it's probably impacting a lot of long-term goals, if they're trying to kind of get themselves back on track. Because I will say that the upper middle class were the first to start eating into their pandemic gains. So, this could be affecting sort of retirement plans and things like that as well. I mean, I thought there's some interesting little tidbits in here. I know that this is affecting like poorer families, low income families massively, no matter how you look at it.
Yes.
But it is interesting because they bring up some really good points.
Yeah. And I think too, they had a couple of interviews in the actual article themselves on people who are upper middle class who either are deciding to, close to retirement age or had retired and now they're going back to work or taking on part-time work, or, they are upper middle class and working a second job to kind of offset some of these additional expenses. Or maybe they're not even additional expenses. They're just expenses that have gotten more expensive.
Yes. In these times that we will not call a recession.
Correct.
All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we will be right back with another hot topic. Welcome back, everyone. We've got another hot topic for you. It's hot. 6 American entrepreneurs on managing this summer's energy prices. This is from the Wall Street Journal. There's a lot to manage.
Well, and I think it was an interesting article to read through how different entrepreneurs who have started their own small business or have had a small business for a very long time or an inherited business, where they rely a lot on, moving product around,
gas,
propane, all of these things, like how much it is affecting them. Well, one of my favorite stories that they highlighted was the beekeeper, Armand Wilborn of Noble Bee Company, based out of Atlanta. He has 26 hives right now, and he talked about how he's now spending $75 a day on gas, which is versus $20 a day last year to do the same thing.
Yeah, and he was aspiring to extend his business to 150 hives, which is looking a little grim at the moment, considering how much he's having to spend in gas.
Right.
And it looks as though he's thinking about picking up a side job. He said, like working at a restaurant or something, just to make up for those extra costs so that he can keep his business afloat. And he's doing the good work, everyone.
I know.
Like he sells, he sells honey, peach honey pops, honey lemonade, bee pollen candles, and lip balm. He sells at local farmers markets and shops, and he also ships nationwide. So this is, it's completely affecting, all areas of his business and ability to expand. And we know bees are really important.
They are really important.
The environment. So
they are. He's already taken measures to cut costs, where he got rid of his co-working space and now is doing everything out of his garage and his own home.
He's really passionate, it sounds like, about what he does. So he's just he's doing what he needs to do, isn't he?
He says it's what he's been born to do.
Yeah, I love people that handle bees, because I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I love I really, really respect it. You know what I mean? I'm like, yes, but I'm like,
right. Oh, well, I'm severely allergic, so hard pass.
Oh, hard pass. Yeah, not safe.
I mean, I love me some honey though, and I love so good.
Like getting that local honey, and it helps. I know, like when you do shows, that's like one of the big tricks to keep your voice, on par, is to get the local honey, because it really, especially if you're on tour, because you're changing climates and there's different allergens.
Yep.
And so you always, like, the first thing you do when you get to a new city is you go get the local honey, and you eat a spoonful of that every morning. Tricks of the trade.
I mean, I knew it for like the allergen piece, especially when we first moved to Philly, we ate a lot. We still eat a lot of local honey because I still have allergies, but it does help. But I didn't know that that's something that you would do when you're on tour. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's weird how you really start noticing you feel different and different.
Yeah,
with whatever's going on.
I could only imagine.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, fun fact. We love the bees. Okay, another one is taco truck operator. Beto Quintanar.
Yeah, Quintanar.
Beto Quintanar. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
They run the El Norteño taco truck in San Francisco.
For 33 years.
Yeah.
So this is a family business. The truck and its generator runs on gasoline, and propane powers the grill and the steam table. So yes, we know that cost has gone up exponentially for poor Beto.
And overall costs have gone up 50% to operate the truck, and that also means his wholesale costs for all of the produce and meats and all the things to actually make the actual food. Which is delicious. You should check it out if you're ever in San Francisco. But it's really interesting. They've definitely gone through and they've had to raise prices for customers. Guacamole went from 75 cents to $2, just like Chipotle.
Yeah.
And so I think it's interesting, but he was very optimistic in the article, saying that he still sees the same customers coming back and back.
Yeah.
So he doesn't feel like there's necessarily...
And they poke at him about it, but they also get it too.
Yeah.
Because
everybody's feeling it.
It's like $1, or it's a little bit, here and there for the customers.
Yeah.
But it's huge for him. And the gas and the propane, it's up to his monthly cost of $2,000, which is up 33% from previous years.
It's crazy.
And he also pays about $200 a week for just the gas he needs to like travel there and back.
Yeah.
It's like a 25-mile journey or something. It's like,
Yeah, because he lives up in the North Bay apparently. So
Yeah.
it's a far across the Golden Gate Bridge every day.
yeah, well, with prices of gas being that high to make that drive is like $200 a week.
Yeah,
That adds up.
it does.
That's $800 a month.
See, she can do math in her head too.
If it's very simple and basic. We have the corn farmer. So irrigation season is starting and much rides on unpredictable rainfall, dictating how much Mark Webber will run his diesel fuel irrigation pumps.
Yeah.
Diesel fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone sees that at like the gas station. You're like, glad I don't have diesel.
That's true. Which is so funny because it used to be a lot cheaper.
Right, not anymore.
I drove a diesel car for quite a bit of time.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, back when it was cheaper.
Yeah, back when it was cheaper.
Yes. But last year he spent around $52,000 on diesel, gasoline, and propane. This year he projects to spend between $80,000 and $90,000. I mean,
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, he also talks about how the cost of fertilizer has also gone up and just everything in order to run a farm is just more expensive. So that's why the cost of goods for any produce has gone up too.
Right.
I mean, it's everywhere. Everybody's paying more.
it really is. It really is. And it is interesting to hear how it's affecting, businesses in all these ways. Because sometimes like we as the consumer can get so frustrated about having to spend more, but then we also have to think about the fact that prices have gone up for business owners too, and they're trying to keep their businesses afloat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's one of the things that I work with on a daily basis too, is that, in the beauty industry, prices have gone up for a lot of raw materials, for the cost of glass, for the cost of any sort of packaging has all gone up, the cost of shipping things anywhere. So brands are finally having to raise prices.
Right.
And, some people have never raised prices. They've been on the market for, 15, 20 years.
Right.
And they're like, no, we pride ourselves on not having to have raised our prices, and this is the year they finally have to do it because they just can't absorb that cost anymore.
Yep.
It's too much.
Yep, I know. So we have to try and sympathize. I get it.
I know.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back to talk about the shows airing today on ROI TV. Welcome back, everyone. I just wanted to give you a friendly reminder not to miss today's episodes of Options Crash Course, Elder Talk, and Browns and Suits. You can catch them all on ROI TV as always. Where?
You can find us on Distro TV, which you can download on any of your devices. Just look for us in the business section. Or you can find us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or on your device, whether it's an Apple or Android product.
That's right. Thank you so much for joining us on another week of Coffee with Kim and Hills. We'll see you next Monday with another big old cup of coffee.